Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here, and today we're going to talk about taking an extended leave. So that typically means going on maternity leave or going on paternity leave or going on parental leave. But it's anything that's an extended leave of absence, which is usually a month, 2 months, 3 months, or longer, and it's planned. In this case, I have a client who asked me, what am I going to do so I can plan the next 4 months before I go on maternity leave and finish strong? Because she's just moved into a new department. She's just been given authority over a new team. And she also just found out that her supervisor as well will be leaving and then coming back. So they're going to be crossing paths. She said like two ships in the night. Once one comes back, then she's going to go. So her biggest question was, how do I end strong? So, typically we like to talk about how do I start strong with a new department, but she wants to know how she's going to take this very small chunk of time and establish herself in a very strong way very quickly. So we followed a particular framework, which I'm going to share with you today, and it has to do with how she develops her relationships, how she positions herself strongly and strategically with her peers around her, and then how she creates expectations for the person that she reports to. Okay, so let's start with the first one, how she builds strong relationships. Now, she has a new team. She knows some of the people, but others are just new hires that are just coming aboard. So she needs to establish herself as a strong leader immediately. So in that sense, for the first step, she's going to take a lot of time sitting down and speaking to each person individually and asking them what their expectations are for working in the department and what the questions they might have in working with her. And then on her end, she very much is going to establish herself very strongly and determine exactly how she wants those people to see her. So this is about her establishing her brand. What she expects in the department, how she expects to work with other people, where they have latitude and they should be able to make decisions on their own, and where they need to come to her for help or for further instruction if they need it. So all of this she needs to figure out. So she's going to start understanding exactly what her expectations are for her team, and then she's going to start asking these questions of the people around her or the people that work for her. She wants to get to know them better. She wants to get to understand their working style, how they show up to work, what kind of person they are. Do they like to do work alone and then bring their solutions to the team? Do they like to present in front of other people? Do they like to work collaboratively? The more she gets to know exactly who is on her team, what their working style is, how well they get along with other people, how she created the environment for them to get along with each other because they're a new team. She's not just the new lead for the team, they're a new team as well. So they're all getting used to each other. And then there's 2 new hires. So those people are coming in straight outside the business. So they need to get acclimated with how the business works and then how they fit into that structure and that culture. Now, she has the next 4 months to actually build up her reputation with her team, build up a solid structure, and make sure that everybody's working effectively. So that's the first step. Now, the second step is developing her relationships with her peers. This is important because she's going to be leaving, and so she needs an interim person who's going to come aboard and make sure they take over her projects and make sure they bring them to completion and make sure they can answer any of the questions her team might have while she's gone. So she's now building relationships with her peers and making sure that they can cover each other. And over the next 4 months, she's going to start bringing those people into her projects so they can just get an overview of how she operates and what expectations are for delivery of any of those projects. That one's an extremely important part as well. Now, the third point of the framework here is making sure she finishes strong with her supervisor. Now, in the past few months, she's actually has this new supervisor. She's been working on how to establish herself for the position that she really wants, and she loves this person. She loves working with this person, and she's kind of worried about how this person's going to go off and have time off, and then she's going to have time off, and they're not really going to connect again until much later in the year. So for this instance, in the next 4 months, she also needs to establish what kind of leader she is. She wants to make sure that she outlines to her supervisor for the next 4 months what she's trying to accomplish, where she's going to drive progress, how those projects are aligned with the strategic vision that her supervisor has for her department, and then how her contributions are going to continue to add to the bigger objectives for the department. And all of that she needs to have hammered out before she leaves. So if we're just estimating for 4 months, then she wants to have a roadmap with her supervisor. What do I need to accomplish? Who do I need to be involved with? Who do I need to roll onto my projects? Who needs to roll off my projects? And then what kind of results do we need to have before she leaves and before her supervisor leaves? And then from that momentum, she wants also to have a holding pattern so that when she comes back, she gets brought up to speed quickly and then can take the reins from there really quickly after she gets back. Now, if any of those elements kind of fall off the track, if you've decided that you need to leave, you want to leave strong, you want to leave a strong impression as you're heading out the door for extended leave of absence, and it's been planned and people know, and you know you're going to come back. You know that you want to leave with a very strong impression. You're going to come back. You're going to take over your role again. And then you want to start strong once you get back. Then this framework really helps. Make sure you have a very strong established connection with your team and that your team has a very strong relationship with each other and they know that they're driving progress forward with the work they're doing. Make sure you have a very strong relationship with your network, your peers and stakeholders who are going to be impacted by the work that your team is doing. And then make sure that you have a very, very strong, clear understanding of what you need to accomplish from now until you're ready to go with your supervisor. Once you have all of those 3 foundational elements in place, you'll be able to leave, be able to get status updates if you need them, and then come back strong knowing that you picked up right where you left off. Okay, so that's it for this video on how to prepare for an extended leave of absence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.